Hey guys, CJ here. This is just a quick video about the Sony A7 III version 2.1 firmware update that's just been released. This update should hopefully solve the SanDisk memory card issue when you put certain batches of this card in slot 1 and it just doesn't work at all. So I've got a 64 gig card that is working fine, and I've got a 128 gig card which has the problem. So I'm just going to put both the cards in slot 1, show the camera working and then not working with the bad card. Then I'll do the firmware update and see how it goes. So I've currently got the 64 gig working card in the camera, and you can see up here that we've got a number of shots available, nothing in slot 2, and the camera's working fine, so we can take a shot and it works. So now if I turn it all off and put the faulty 128 gig card in, you should see the error that comes up. So that starts by showing no card, and then after waiting a few seconds it will come up with the reinsert into slot 1 error. There we go. So now once we do the firmware update, hopefully this issue will be solved, so let's find out. So if you do a quick search for Sony A7 III firmware update, make sure you go onto Sony's actual website and you'll see that there's the firmware version 2.1 update under the download section. Make sure you get the Windows or the Mac version depending on which computer you're working on. Start the download, just agree to this. And then once that's downloading, if you have a quick read through, you'll see the main issue that I'm looking to solve is the problem caused by a specific third-party memory card which would not be recognised by Sony cameras. So that's what I'm hoping gets solved after doing this firmware update. It is worth having a quick read through, checking your current version. If you haven't already done the update to version 2, make sure you do that one first before going to version 2.1. It's fairly self-explanatory, all of these bits, nothing too complicated at all. A few things to check, like that your USB connection is on mass storage, so just check that in the camera before you go ahead, but it will remind you to do it all once the program is running. So here's the downloaded firmware update. Just going to double click onto this, let it unzip itself automatically. Now we're just going to follow the steps as they come up on the screen. So we'll start by turning on the camera. I've taken out both my memory cards now just to make sure there's no problems with it. Make sure you've selected the camera method is set to mass storage, as I said before. Then you want to connect the camera to the USB slot. Coming up on screen, and then we click next. So we can see just down the bottom here on the screen that it's showing version 2.0 is my current version, and after the update it's going to be version 2.1. So I'm just going to put the camera down and let it do the update. So that took about 4 minutes to complete the update, and the camera has now come back on. I'm just going to click finish on here. So if we go to the setup option on the camera and then go to page 7, we can go onto version and just confirm that we're now on version 2.1. What I'll do now is turn the camera off, and I'm going to put in the previously faulty 128 gig card into slot 1. Turn it back on. There we go. So now we can actually see we've got numbers up the top there for how many pictures we can take, and hopefully it's going to let us take it. So that looks to have solved the issue.